And so she wanted to know what my overall narrative on what the story of Wartown is. So I started it the way I start a lot of conversations with people. Do you want me to be nice or do you want me to be honest? You know, uh, and everybody, either to their benefit or to their demise, they always say, I want you to be honest. So I was honest.
Beep, 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 beep. Live from Wellston, Georgia, it's another episode of the War-Town Times. Be sure to like us on all of our internet doohickeys like TikTok, YouTubing, and Booking.
Hey, everybody, it's your humble author, narrator, and fictional character, Daniel Louis Crumpton. I hope all of you had a wonderful 4th of July Independence Day long weekend. I was going to put something up, but my heart wasn't in it this Independence Day because I was paying attention to the news, the local and the national news. Had completely dissuaded me from wanting to celebrate the 4th of July, but I'll get into that later. Anywho, wanted to tell you guys a story and some stuff that's going on here in the fictional city of WAR-TOWN that you may find interesting. A few weeks ago, the marketing and the marketing and communications director for the city of Warner Robins, Jeremy Furman, who is legitimately awesome dude. He's been very polite to yours truly and mine every time we've had dealings with City Hall. And as somebody who went to college for digital design and marketing, seeing what he's doing for the corporation of Wartown is it's pretty cool what he's doing. He's got a good eye, but he's a cool guy, and he reached out to me a few weeks ago and wanted me to be a part of this really neat thing that I think is going on in our community. I don't know if you have perused Der Booking, but the City of Warner Robins government page put up a public listening and branding 101 workshop that was held on July the 10th at City Hall. But Jeremy Furman and City Hall invited me to be a part of that, and they explained it to me like this: is that they were bringing in this firm from Nashville, Tennessee, a very professional firm that was going to spend 8 to 10 weeks helping Warner Robins brand itself or rebrand itself. And when we think branding, we think logos like McDonald's or Nike or whatever. But this is more. This is a little bit different because it's municipal branding. So it's more. And this is what really. This is how Jeremy hooked me. It's more about storytelling and telling the story and giving the identity of who we in Warner Robins or Wartown, who we are. And for one, when he invited me, or City Hall invited me, I was very humbled and for a lot of reasons. And it gave me a lot of hope and excitement for the future of our community, because when you have a firm coming in that is trying to figure out what the story or the identity of Wartown is, and yours truly is invited to assist in that, we have either greatly declined as a people here, or we are making a lot of progress. Because you know me, I know that there's, to always look on the bright side of life. And in real life, I do. I'm a very optimistic person. However, I do know what my role is here. And it's no matter how well things are going, I'm supposed to be like Nathan or the prophet Daniel from the Old Testament. And I'm supposed to come and wag my finger and remind people of how far they're getting away from this, and then knock their ass back to it. So that's my job. So I'm supposed to poke. You got to have somebody poking, okay? And that's me. So I was asked to come and be a part of this, and I was honored to do it. And I was also like, oh man, what am I going to say? And so I went in this morning to do one of the one-on-ones with a beautiful young woman named Cindy who works for this firm. And I'm going to paraphrase the conversation, but it's also a good word picture for what I want to say to you guys here in Wartown right now during this time in history. So I got up early in the morning and did my thing. I had my celery juice and my Max Trainer, and took Archer the space schnoodle out to go pick some things from my garden. And I was like, what am I going to tell this lady about the story of Warner Robins, the story of Wartown? And so when I went in, and we did the pleasantries, and she sat across from the desk, and I sat on the other side of the desk, and had my bag with my pocket constitutions and business cards and all that good stuff I carry everywhere with me. how I started it is she wanted to know, you know, what my impressions were and what my history was, and I told her all the things. I'm the author of Then Came the Flood, the groundbreaking novel published in 2012 that you might want to read. It takes place 7 days before the flood of Noah. Animan actually had talks about it becoming either a series or a movie, so that was pretty exciting. That's some other good news that's going on, but I digress. Told her I was a contributor to ZenOnTheCar.com and the War-Town Times, and a minister, and that I'm an advocate and for Cannabis Total Wellness, the nationwide medical cannabis collective, and that I'm an alien. I'm not from here. I'm from outside, so I have a different perspective. Well, a lot of us are from outside because of the base and everything. And so she wanted to know what my overall narrative on what the story of War-Town is. So I started it the way I start a lot of conversations with people. Do you want me to be nice or do you want me to be honest? You know, uh, and everybody, either to their benefit or to their demise, they always say, I want you to be honest. So I was honest. And again, paraphrasing, but I'll encapsulate the truth of it. What I had to say was this. I had to say that in my experience here for most of my life in the community of Warner Robins, that in the last 3 years, you have seen more unity, progress, forward thinking, sound thinking, and a sense that there could be unity in diversity in this community that prior to 3 years and some change ago was non-existent. And I, and what I mean is that in it, I guess we can date it by administrations, prior administrations or previous administrations, and the elements that run the gears of government around here were very tight and almost familiar, if not familiar. And I said, this community, as a result of, well, what I guess we call the good old boy network, or, this nepotism or nepotistic network of in-laws and outlaws and inbreds that have had a clutch on this community for a very long time, have only really catered to two primary functions of this area. And one is the military industrial complex, and the other is the prison for profit and probation for profit and policing for profit complex. That is what this community has been known for. And in classes such as mine, and slightly above and below, if there is any classes anymore, terms for this area have been thrown around, such as Trick County. Because, when you get caught up into the legal gears of this area, it is like Frodo getting caught up in the web, on the way to Mordor. And some other nicknames for Houston County, which includes Warner Robins, I guess, obviously, is the Black Hole, because, once you are pulled into the singularity of this county, it's like almost impossible to get away. And if you do get away for any kind of time, you get pulled back in. And it's kind of commonly known that one of the primary reasons for that is because you got to report back to your probation officer every other week and pay him some money. And I told Cindy, in all honesty, that, one of the unofficial slogans is for Warner Robins is come to Warner Robins on vacation and leave on probation. And these, these are sad realities. And, if you disagree with what I'm talking about, then you're just not of the class that is aware that that is the experience, or has been the experience in War-Town. Is that, I remember when they first started putting cameras on the red lights on Watson Boulevard and everything. And I had, for the first time in my life, gotten finished reading George Orwell's 1984. And, like I always tell people, there's two novels that gave me nightmares legitimately: Bram Stoker's Dracula, because it's a creepy book, and 1984. And I have seen in my experience here that this city has been adamant about violating or going around posse comitatus by equipping our local police force with military grade armored vehicles and weapons and the mentality, which is the scary part. And that's kind of known. And the other thing that we cater to here is the military industrial complex. And now it wasn't so kosher to talk about it too long ago around these parts, but now the entire world, thanks to the speed of technology and information, now the entire world is aware of what the military industrial complex is, and that its best interest is not in defending the Republic or anything like that. It's a perpetuation of forever war, just like in 1984. And you guys, that it's true. When in your lifetime have we not been in some war or battleground around the world? Okay. It's, and we haven't even declared war since World War II. But I say that to say that's two of the things that this community is really known for. And that you can see is the military industrial complex and the militarization of the police complex. And it's scary. And, previous administrations or dating, it hasn't been a good story. And so I don't know if she was taken aback or not, or if she was expecting it, because I think it was her first interview for the day or for the whole thing. So I set the pace for it. So I'm sorry, guys, if you fucked up inviting me, but I had to speak the truth. So, but that being the case, and before I do show you the silver lining, to give you an example, this past 4th of July, we had the Independence Day celebration. We had Scott Stapp, I think his name is, from Creed. I wasn't a Creed guy, sorry. And we had Jefferson Airship come to play, at the stadium over there at Warner Robins High. And there's always a fireworks show, and it's always really cool and patriotic. And I like to go. I've gone for the past 3 years. I've gone. I wasn't too happy last year or the year before when I went because after the fireworks, when everyone's leaving the stadium and you're going to your cars, you have these Linco Bearcat tanks that I was talking about, that I've been complaining about in this community for 13 years, is that I don't think that we want our peace officers to have Linco Bearcat assault vehicles driving up and down our street. It's a bad look. It doesn't look like freedom and liberty in America. And the irony is that you're walking out of an event where we just shot off fireworks and we just heard, I'm proud to be an American. And the first thing that you see when you walk out in the streets in front of Warner Robins High School are tanks on American streets. Okay. And that was last year. I don't know if they had the tanks on display this year because I left early, and I'm going to tell you why. Me and my sidekick for the evening, we went to this year's celebration, and this was another reason that I was disheartened about celebrating the 4th of July. We went to the celebration, and of course, there are a lot of police officers with the Warner Robins PD who understand what I'm doing and the message that I'm giving, and it's not anti-police and it's not anti-government, but it's proper policing, which is being a peace officer and not a revenue generator or harassing just for the sake of it or whatever. It's not what we want. And so I'm very pro peace officer, and when I know peace officers are acting in that capacity, they have my utmost respect reverence and prayers too. But when they're acting like something out of, you know, equilibrium with Christian Bale, I don't really care for them too much. And I know that there are a lot of officers with the Warner Robins Police Department who understand that's where I'm coming from, uh, and agree with me. And they have to keep their mouths shut until they retire. I can't tell you guys how many police officers have told me that they would love to sit down and talk about the Constitution with me, you know, when they retire. And I'm like, why do you have to wait to retire? You know, we can have coffee now and talk about the Bill of Rights, man. But I get it. You know, people have to feed their families. People have jobs and they're scared to speak out about things. And you know, I'm the guy who uh, hopefully says what they're too afraid to say or can't say right now because of their positions and whatever. But anyway, I digress. So we went out to the celebration with a bag full of pocket constitutions and nifty WAR-TOWN Times cards and all of that. And we're going to pass them out, you know, to peace officers who were there, to staff who were there, and of course to the crowd who was there to hear the music and to come together to be free, to be Americans. And, you know, even though we're going through, you know, the worst time in American history, you know, thankfully there was this event that all of us in WAR-TOWN could go to and feel like we're free, even if it's like for one night, even if it's play pretend, right? That we can all go and do that. And so I was really looking forward to it and looking forward to, you know, passing these things out because it's the 4th of July. This is what it's about, right? This, right? And come on, we spent, I don't know how much money the city spends on this festival or this event every year to celebrate independence and liberty and freedom. So what better place to pass out pocket constitutions than there? So we went there. And of course, you know, you have to go through the checkpoints and everything, which we've been conditioned to do that now. You know, open your bags and let people dig through it. And I get it. We're all, you know, coming together after, you know, 9/11. And so who everybody sees something, say something. Everybody's got to rat their neighbor out and be suspicious and paranoid to everybody. So let's check everything, which is cool because we've been acclimated to that now. And of course, the peace officer who opened my bag, he's like, "You got a lot of pamphlets in here." And he probably thought I was like, you know, some political extremist or something. And I'm like, well, they're pocket constitutions, right? And he kind of lit up for a minute. And that was great. And he was like, can I get one? I was like, yeah, you can get one. And I'm like, but they should have issued you this when they issued you your uniform and badge and everything. But I digress. So that was cool. And we made sure to pass out a lot of these pocket constitutions, which, by the way, were provided by the Georgia Candidates Initiative. So if you're one of the 150, 175 people who happen to get one of these pocket constitutions, if you flip on the back, you'll see information for the Georgia Candidates Initiative. And of course, we had business cards in there for the WAR-TOWN Times, where you can download the Friendly Neighborhood Manifesto and watch all of our sheriff shootout specials and all of that, which is really cool. I might put the QR code so you guys can scan it, because you really do want to check out the Friendly Neighborhood Manifesto, which we'll get to later. Anywho, going around the lake here, but that's what I do. So we go through the checkpoint, and right after, of course, you got to get to the porta potty, and you do all that. And I'm waiting for my partner in crime, my sidekick over there, to get out of the porta potty. And I'm kind of looking up at the stadium. And at first I was like, no, couldn't be, you know. And then I looked and squinted and I was like, yeah. And a staff lady, I hope that's the appropriate term, a staff woman came up to me and she had a great big smile on her face. And she said, hi, yeah, that's where the press are. And I said, yeah, I see that. You know, I see the cameraman. I see the cameraman up there. I was like, but I also see snipers, right? And I think there were, maybe it was a spotter and a sniper or two snipers, but there were snipers. So if you guys are in WAR-TOWN, if you're not, Google Earth this or Google Maps the Warner Robins High School Stadium, whatever it's called, Tatnall Stadium, I think. If you kind of are looking with a bird's eye view down at what the situation is, you have a stadium over here, and then we're all fenced in where the staging area is. And over here, pointed into the crowd of civilians and residents of Wartown are snipers. Their snipers are pointing down into the crowd of free Americans on Independence Day, right? And it really just, it took me aback, and I had to really just swallow that for a minute and feel my heart go down into the pit of my stomach to go, it's Independence Day. We're here to celebrate freedom, liberty, and overthrowing a totalitarian monarchy that ate out our substance and had troops all over the place pointing muskets at us. And right here, I don't know if it was the Warner Robins Police Department or the Houston County Sheriff's Department or whoever, but there were snipers pointed at Americans while we're celebrating freedom. And to me, that is just the biggest blow to my spirit that particular holiday. And so I looked at the lady and I go, ma'am, are those snipers? And she's like, yeah, it's to keep us safe. And I'm like, I don't feel safe with snipers, So we did our circuit around the event, met a few people, and passed out, a lot of pocket constitutions, and to kind of remind everybody of what the celebration was supposed to be about. And then, honestly, I have complex post-traumatic stress disorder. Okay. I didn't want to stick around for the fireworks because I didn't know if these guys had PTSD too, and the fireworks go off and one of them might sneeze or something, and whatever. I don't know. I don't know if they thought Scott Stapp was strapping or Jefferson Airship was gonna, I don't know. I don't know why we needed snipers, but anyway, so we left early, but that was really, really disheartening, and that's our community. That's where we're at. Well, but I digress. Let me go back. I handed the staff lady a pocket constitution, just kind of numbly, because she thought that it was a really good thing, and maybe some of you listening think it's a really good thing to go and to an Independence Day event with snipers pointed at you, and say you're free. If you think it's good, cool, but you just gave me the willies, man. But I gave her a pocket constitution and kind of trailed off. And then shortly thereafter, I was kind of trying to process her, and if you're watching, lady, I don't mean any offense, but process it. Process how somebody could think that was good, that this all made sense, because it made no sense to me. And then she tapped me on the shoulder. She came up and she goes, I just want to thank you for coming to pass these out to everybody. More people should know what it says. And I kind of I did this and I'm like, yeah, and I don't want to run too long. I'm probably going to have to edit this up. Uh, but hang on. Jesus. So, I mean, yeah, I was like, they should. Like the Third Amendment, no soldier shall in time of peace be quartered in any house without the consent of the owner, nor in time of war, but in a manner to be prescribed by law, which isn't, it wasn't like the sniper was coming home with me, but it's still weird to have, military type stuff going on in American streets. Anywho, but she thought it was a wonderful thing we were passing out constitutions, and we did too, but we left early. And I was really down about that. I was really down about it. And so I say that to say this is kind of what I was relaying to Cindy with this firm, was that what the city has typically catered to or leaned towards was being the identity of a war machine and a prison for profit machine that has devastated the melanated community and minority neighborhoods in this area of the country, and specifically in our state, for a long time. And it's a fact. And furthermore, I can say that it's apparent that that is the case when you can literally go on Facebook and go to Houston County Crime, which I mean, I'm on I follow that page to a degree, but not for the reasons you think. Uh, but I told Cindy, I said, look, it's like this. You can go you can go to Houston County Crime on Facebook. You want to know what the story of WAR-TOWN is and what the identity of WAR-TOWN is. You can go to Houston County Crime on Facebook or similar ones, and you see all day long mugshots of people who are arrested in this community, and a lot of times for victimless crimes or for probation violation or victimless crimes. And these people haven't had a trial, and somehow or another, the Houston County Gazette and other companies are making a profit off of their mugshots, and then furthermore posting them on social media for everyone in the community to see, which is ruining lives and ruining careers and destroying families. And these people haven't even had a trial yet. And we haven't asked the question in this community, who is making money doing that? And did they get our consent to do this? Like, this is an issue that I think, a lot of people on Facebook think that Houston County crime is like fun and funny. I think it's sick. I think it's sick, sick, sick. And I think the fact that mugshots of residents of Houston County and Warner Robins, I think it's despicable that mugshots of our residents are being sold because they have to be, right? I mean, I haven't done the digging, but somebody's making money off of it or it wouldn't be on social media. I think it's despicable that our residents' lives are being destroyed because, I mean, people get arrested for everything around here and then put on probation around here, and then their pictures are posted everywhere, and then everybody gets to make fun of them and destroy their lives for generations probably. And it's nobody bats an eye. Nobody thinks that it's abnormal. And I told Cindy, and it's apparent. It's like, and if you go to like the Houston County Crime page and you just click on pictures to see the mugshots, the color palette is a little overwhelming in one shade over another shade, and it's right there for your eyes to see. So I said, Cindy, that's the story of WAR-TOWN. This place used to be called Wellston, a place of wellness. And then during the last declared war that this country ever declared, we have the Warner Robins Air Force Base come in, and now we're WAR-TOWN. We used to be Wellston, and now we're WAR-TOWN. And we're the beating heart of the military-industrial complex and the prison for profit, probation for profit, and the cutting edge of militarizing the police and the surveillance state, really. I mean, let's be truthful. And so that's what the history of WAR-TOWN has led us up to. One of George Orwell's worst nightmares, where melanated people in this area, they have been devastated. A lot of them have been devastated. And it's sad and it's sick. And I told Cindy, that it was obvious to somebody such as myself coming in that was the case. And that I don't like bullies. I'm kind of like Steve Rogers with that, and I don't care who they are, and I'm not really caring who they're oppressing. But if I see, a bullied situation, I got to do something about it. I got to say something about it. I can't bite my tongue about it. And these are facts. Okay. And then we got into further, or I got into further discussion about it. I'll be discreet about what she had to say, but anyway, because she was interviewing me. So. But I was like, and it's like this, you'll hear a phrase that's come across my awareness in the past few years of this. She said the Dixie mob, but I said, no, it's the South Side Mafia. Okay. This verbiage has come into my awareness in the past few years, and I can, I'm really going to get into what the South Side Mafia is later. But we discussed that, and it's this notion of an unconscious hillbilly Illuminati group of intermarried people who have a certain mindset and mentality that goes way back when around these parts, we'd take you down to the creek, if we didn't like you. You know what I mean? But a lot of the cogs that have been in local government are still that old persuasive, that old mindset, that persuasion, that is just Neanderthalic. And so I said, sadly, all of these things are the history and the identity of who WAR-TOWN, what WAR-TOWN is. But I say that now to say this: the very fact that yours truly is sitting in front of you is indicative of this, that in a very, very small amount of time, 3.5 years, an element within this community who has seen these things and has felt the negative repercussions of these truths have managed to come into a position where we have all together, with unity in our diversity, start to bring about change in WAR-TOWN. To start to more incorporate the idea of the international community, not being so much about filling the military industrial complex by just focusing on, the Air Force Base and the military and, perpetual warfare. But what we allege the military and the armed forces are supposed to be doing, which is protecting the republic, protecting, our liberties and our freedoms. That's why we have pride in our area, is that's what we want to stand for, moving forward. That in a very short amount of time, the people of this city have been able to come together and make change very quickly away from the old status quo that had the ability to tell the story of WAR-TOWN up until now. And what I had to say about WAR-TOWN and our identity now is that we are a city that is emerging from a chrysalis of what once was and what we are going to become. Because right now, we are deciding who we are going to be. As I've been saying in the Sheriff Shootout special, these are tumultuous times in our country and in the world. And, your local government, they can't freak you out. And they're not going to have meetings down there at City Hall about, hey, what if two EMPs go off because of things that we're doing, these entangling alliances that we have overseas? What if two EMPs go off on the East Coast and the West Coast and the grid goes down and we don't have the input from up north or the District of Columbia? What is this community going to do in the event that something horrific happens, okay, in the near future? People in local government, God bless them. I love each and every one of them most individually, because they're individuals within government. But don't get me wrong. Government is an unconscious corpse that is animated by individuals. Government is useless, really. It should be limited. It should be constrained. It should be very, very small. So when I talk negatively about government, you guys who are in local government, don't think I'm talking personally to you, except for you, Charlie Bibb. But I'm talking about the mindlessness of government and how we allow it to intrude into our daily lives because we want to feel secure and safe. And we know what the founder said. If you're going to give up your essential liberties for security, you're not going to get either, and you don't deserve them anyway. But people in local government aren't going to have press conferences every day. Like LaRonda's not going to get up in front of Facebook Live and tell you every day that, hey, you guys might want to prepare for some bad stuff that might happen. But guys, I'm telling you, if you are paying attention to global news and national news, this community has got to come together and unite in our diversity. And that's the positive of what I told this lovely Cindy, is that in a very short amount of time, with this administration, because LaRonda is a symbol. LaRonda is an individual. She's a human being. She's not perfect. Okay. She's not our leader. She's a public servant and she's aware of it. And uh, she's a human being that can make mistakes and, you know, has to have our support, our prayers, our input. However, it is obvious that Madam Mayor LaRonda Patrick is a symbol and a very important symbol. And what in her capacity as that symbol she has been able to do is open up doorways to other people in the community to come forward and have a part in who we are and what we're going to be. And like at the meeting tonight down at City Hall, there was, again, a small group that were there to do the workshop, but it was a diverse group. And it wasn't, and I've been, I got eyeballs and ear holes everywhere. I have little Wartown Robins that tell me everything everywhere. And I've come up watching the Good Old Boy Network in this area, and how horrifically desperate they are to hang on to power. And for the reasons why and their motivations, I'll get into later, because I'm probably going to do like an expose on the South Side Mafia here soon, because you guys really want to hear about this if you've never heard of it before. But, don't get me wrong. Everybody's playing nice right now in your local government, but come election time, you're going to see that entities and organizations and families who've long held on to power in this community, are the knives will come out, okay? Because power don't like to lose power. So in the past 3 years with this administration and things that are going on, we've been able to burst forth with possibility and of what we could be. And so, that's kind of what I had to say about the story of Wartown, is that the idea of bringing cultures in through the method or the means of the Air Force Base, with these airmen and airwomen who come in from all over the world into our community, bringing their culture, their spirituality, their perspectives, and how this could be this area, this city could be, the closest thing to like this Federation from Star Trek that you can get. You guys know I love Star Trek, and it's like this place, this city has the ability to become something like that, where we all celebrate our diversity. Like with the Vulcans, they have this thing called the IDIC, or the IDIC, which means infinite diversity in infinite combinations, right? And obviously we can't use that as the city slogan, but it'd be cool. But that is really what Wartown has the ability to be, is infinite diversity and infinite combinations, or this unity in diversity. And I got news for you. I've been in Wartown for a long time, and the last thing that the people who've been at the gears of power have wanted in this community is diversity. And they have gone to extreme violations of the supreme law to squash diversity. And it's a fact, but it's changing. So that was the good thing. And that was kind of expressed at the meeting, the branding meeting, is that where we are right now in Wartown is at a transitory state, a white slate, or a blank slate, as the guy said, the gentleman said, I can't remember his name, but he said, Wartown right now is deciding who we're going to be, right? And in order to decide who we're going to be, we have to look honestly at who we are and who we've been. And you guys, if you've come up in Wartown, you know it hasn't been the shining beacon on the hill of freedom and liberty that it could be and that it should be. If we have water towers slathered with American flags, and we have landscaping companies cut in this long reflected every day in Middle Georgia is Armed Forces Appreciation Day, which is unpronounceable. And for years after I got to this city and I would see Dad carved in things or painted on things, I was like, what the hell? Is this a magic spell? But every day in Middle Georgia is Armed Forces Appreciation Day. And it's like, we say that. We say we love the veterans and we respect the veterans, but we've really gotten away of what the veterans or what they were defending, right? Because you guys know full well that if you guys, if especially national government, but local government too, if they knew this document, we'd be a lot better off. And a lot of stuff wouldn't be going on that's going on right now in Wartown. But anywho, so that's what I had to say is that, this has been an area that has been heavily restricted on what it could be, but it's changing. We have a small opportunity to change it for the better, especially during the most tumultuous times in American history. Okay. So, anyway, I wanted to get that off my heart, and really just be as authentic as I could with you guys about what I'm thinking and feeling about our community. Because I love you guys, man. We all live here together, and I know I see a lot of you in public, and you see me in public, and we shop here, we worship here. It's our town, man. It's our city, and it's changing, and we all have to participate and make it change for the good, and make it change for something that are your kids. I don't have any. I got schnoodles. Something that your kids can want to stay in, grow up in. And maybe, when veterans or airmen and airwomen who come and serve here for a while, maybe whenever they retire, if they're stationed elsewhere, they go, there was this town that I was stationed in that was this shining beacon of liberty and freedom. And they really did, encapsulate the ideas of what America can be. I'm going to go retire there and start my business there or whatever. That's what we can be. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go, but I wanted to let you know that's going on. And if you want any more information about the WAR-TOWN rebranding project, just go to the Warner Robins government Facebook page or their website or give them a call. I think they're going to be contacting a lot of local business owners, so please participate and be honest with this firm. Tell them what's up. Tell them what your take is. Don't, blow smoke up their skirt about who we are. We got to admit who we are here at Wartown and who we could be, right? We don't want to be a technocratic surveillance city that is, with police cars that have these computers that go down parking lots and scan license plates and issue citations with no infraction on any other person's. We don't want all of that, man. That's ridiculous. We want to be free and cool, right? So, guys, if you want to get more involved with what we're doing here with the Wartown Times, please go to the wartowntimes.com and smash all of our things, like all of our things, subscribe and follow. And do take the time to read the Friendly Neighborhood Manifesto. It sounds scary, like there's some terrorist stuff in here. So all you guys at the Warner Robins Police Department want to have a briefing about the Friendly Neighborhood Manifesto and read it, just in case. No, it's actually a very short document that is designed to help our community get as close to a republic as we can, and then other communities, because a lot of people from out of Wartown actually watch the Wartown Times because they love the comedy and can't believe some of the stories I tell about this place. But the Friendly Neighborhood Manifesto is it'll get you caught up to speed on what's going on in your local government or how it works. What's been going on with the reduction of your rights through statutes, codes, ordinances, and acts that are all voluntary. And now that the Chevron deference has been overturned, it's even easier for me to talk about this. But please download a copy, or you can even watch the YouTube reading of the Friendly Neighborhood Manifesto to get a real good idea of how we can bring real quick change for the positive here in Wartown without any kind of bullshittery. So Police Chief Wayne Fisher, I look forward to hearing from my little snitches about a briefing that you have about the manifesto. It's a good read. We put it together with love and joy and tongue in cheek. So anyway, you guys, I'll be back with another Sheriff Shootout special because I have some information on that front as well. And if you're in Wartown and you've been seeing Georgia Canasense signs around, please take the time to scan the QR code for more information about the Georgia CanaSense initiative. It is really cool. I'm going to be doing an informational video about how the Georgia CanaSense model works and how all of you here in WAR-TOWN can become valid, lawful medical cannabis patients immediately and be protected by the CanaSense Foundation so you don't come under any legal scrutinization for trying to get well with plant-based medicine. Like Crumptonite, a strain named in honor of yours truly for his charitable work with CanaSense Total Wellness. So please check out that, GeorgiaCanaSense.com. Go to ZenInTheCar.com, our mothership. We're on Spotify, we're on YouTube, we're on TikTok, we're on Rumble, we're on all that stuff. If you could, I would really appreciate it. The team would really appreciate it. Subscribe to all our stuff, like our stuff. I know you hear it from everybody, and I even hate that I have to say it, but please like, share, subscribe, spread it throughout the community. I love you guys in WAR-TOWN, and I see you on the streets. Until I see you on the streets, please read your Constitution. If you don't have a copy, hit me up. I will get you a free pocket Constitution. I love you guys. Stay well and stay free.
This goodness has been brought to you by ZenInTheCar.com, powered by CanaSense. CanaSense Total Wellness provides Americans in all 50 states with lawful, organic, lab-tested medical cannabis and therapeutic psilocybin to its members. Membership to join our collective is as simple as filling out a sponsorship form at canasense.com, uploading a photo ID showing 21 and up, and putting Zen in the Car as your sponsor. Once your sponsorship form is approved, members will have instant access to our apothecary to view and order from our menu filled with flower, edibles, vapes, topicals, supplements, and a myriad of other intake methods best suited to your needs on the path of recovery and wellness. The mission of CanaSense Total Wellness is to assist all Americans in life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness through our God-given right to plant-based medicine. They provide discreet shipping nationwide, typically within 3 business days on most orders. Links to their sponsorship form are in the Christ boxes on whichever platform you found us. Or just make it easier on yourself and scan the QR code thingy on your screen now. Obtaining your clean, lab-tested medicine doesn't have to be complicated because CanaSense is common sense. Join Team Zen in the Car on the journey throughout the Uberverse with the right vibe. And don't forget to like it, share it, and subscribe it to all our super neato internet doohickeys. Zen in the Car. It good for you.
Do you want a police state? No, you don't want a police state, do you? You don't want no police state, do you? No. You don't want a police state.